Sahana vavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Saha viryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Maya Saktamanah Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathajñasyasi Tatshunu Jnanam Teham Savijnanam Idam Vakshamyasheshataha Yajñatva neha bhuyonyat Jnatavyamavashishyate Manushyanam sahasreshu Kaschidhyatati siddhaye Yatataamapi siddhanam Kaschinmam veti tattvataha Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu Kham mano buddhireva cha aham karayiti yamme bhinna prakrutirashtadha apareyamitastvanyam prakrutim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat etadhyonini bhutani sarvani tyupadharaya aham kritsnasya jagataha prabhava pralayasthatha mattah parataram nanyat kimchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam protam Sutre manigana iva rasohamapsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoho pranava sarva vedeshu shabdha khe paurusham rushu punyo gandha pruthivyam cha tejaschasmi vibhavasau Jivanam sarvabhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu bijam mam sarvabhutanam vedhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatamasmi tejas tejasvinamaham. Hari Om, Namaskaram to everyone. Verses 8 and 9, he started describing some of his manifestation. He starts enumerating in the 8th verse. He said, I am the sapidity in the waters, I am the radiance in the sun and the moon, I am the pranava, the syllable Om, I am the manhood in men. And in the 9th mantra, he said, I am the sweet fragrance in the earth, the brilliance in the fire, I am the life in all beings. And then lastly, he said, I am the austerity in the ascetics. Tapaschasmi tapasvishu. Now, the 10th and the 11th verse are one of the most fascinating constructions. So, without any much ado, let's get on to the 10th verse, please. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvinamaham. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvinamaham. Vidhi, the word vidhi, which means know me, O Partha. Vidhi Partha, know me, O Partha, as eternal seed of all beings. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam sanatanam, as the eternal seed of all beings. Sanatanam bijam. It's a very unique, very beautiful, an extraordinary construction. I don't know how many of you can actually conceive what is packed in that. It's like a dynamite. Sanatanam bijam. And then he says, I am the intelligence of the intelligent. Buddhi, buddhitama, buddhimadam asmi. I am the intelligence of the intelligent. And then the tejas tejasvinamaham. I am the splendor of the splendid. Right. So just carefully examine, carefully follow the line of thought. Eternal seed. Eternal seed. When you say an eternal, something which remains to be forever, something which doesn't perish or change with reference to time. That's what eternal means, isn't it? It has no relevance to time. It exists. So, vidhi means no. Vidhi Partha, vidhi Sitaram. No, learn this, Sitaramji. Learn it. That's what Lord Krishna is addressing lovingly to Arjuna. Learn this, O Arjuna. Know this. Vidhi Partha. Know this, O Partha, that I am the eternal seed of all beings. So the eternal is something which doesn't change with reference to time. And a seed, independently, you take the word a seed. Seed is that which gives rise to a plant, a sapling, a plant, a tree, isn't it? So when you see a tree, there had to be a seed, the cause, the effect is the tree. Am I right? There is a seed, which is the cause, the effect is the tree, and the tree produces seeds. Again, that tree becomes the cause, the effect is the seed, and the tree have a cause and an effect relationship, which is the chain responsible for the existence of all the plant species. Isn't it? Simple logic. Now you apply the same thing to the animal kingdom and the human kingdom. But here he says, know me as the seed of all beings. Now, if he had just said, know me as the seed of all beings, a straightforward construction, anybody on the, any layman can say that. But when he says, know me as the eternal seed, when he says eternal seed, means a seed which remains to be a seed. The seed doesn't sprout. The seed doesn't manifest. An eternal seed means it is a permanent seed, an eternal seed, a seed which has no effect. It's a very subtle construction. Please be very, very alert. Follow the line of thought. Slowly, I'm building it. I said, when he says eternal, I said eternal is something that which doesn't change over a period of time. And then independently, we said a seed is that which creates an effect. So there is a cause and effect with reference to a seed. Wherever there's a seed, it manifests into an effect, and the effect continues to produce a seed. So there's a cause and effect relationship. There's a chain reaction. So these are two terms. Now, when you bring these two terms, the eternal and the seed together, it seems to give a new meaning to it. When he says eternal seed, means the seed remains to be a seed which is not subjected to the cycle of cause and effect. In effect, eternal seed means an uncaused cause. You got to capture every word, then you will make sense of it. An eternal seed means it is the uncaused cause of all beings, entire world. I am the seed of all beings. But when he says I am the eternal seed, it means I am the uncaused cause. Not like a seed in a tree. A seed in a tree has got a cause and an effect. Am I right? Ashama samajh rahe hain? A seed has to have a cause and an effect. But he says, I am the seed of the entire beings, but I am the seed which has no effect, because I remain to be a seed, which means I am the uncaused cause, not in the same sense as a cause and effect of a seed and a plant, of a chicken and an egg. I am not in that sense the cause. I am the uncaused cause. Now here comes the problem in understanding what do you mean by the uncaused cause. Now the only way you'll understand is, let's all of us be transported into where shall all of us be transported into? For a little moment, let's all go into the dream. Now, when we go into the dream, I ask you, can you give me a brief description of who you are? What is your lineage? Who is your father? Who is your grandfather? I'm sure you've heard of your forefathers. Can you give me a description of that lineage? He says, obviously, sir, I've lived for 40, 50 years. I have my father. There you see the portrait of my grandfather, and then you give me names of your forefathers, you've heard of them. So you say, there is my father, my father's father, his father. So if there was so and so, let's say, a point where it all started, the father is the cause, the son is the effect, the son is the cause, his son is the effect. I am the effect of that cause and effect. I am today here, having lived 50 years, a testimony and a proof to that lineage which existed. Now, where did the lineage exist? Where did the lineage exist? In the dream. Now I ask you, you did not exist without your father. Did you come into existence without your father? You cannot. Did your father come into existence without his father? Cannot. So there is that cause and effect relationship. Am I right? Now I ask you, who is the first father who was responsible for that chain? I repeat the question. Who is the first father who was responsible for that chain to which you are a proof of existence, that the chain existed? And I'm just a product of that, a natural chain of a cause and effect relationship. Now, what am I trying to explain here? I'm trying to explain what is the term uncaused cause mean. I'm trying to explain that because eternal seed means uncaused cause. I'm trying to explain what the term uncaused cause mean. And then I took the example of the dream. There is a chain of father-son relationship and you exist. My question is, who is the first father in the dream? A very, very difficult, very tricky question. Now, how many of you have been, first of all, following what I've been saying? Forget answering the question. This fellow must have come from a different planet today and talking all sorts of things, you know. Who? Are you all still in the dream state? You're supposed to be. I took you all there for a while, so don't wake up. If you wake up, then we can't have a conversation. Now the question is, who is the first father in the dream? Let me ask with Sanjay. Any idea, Sanjay? I'm afraid we are not able to hear you, Sanjay.
Hello?
Yes.
So you've chosen me for a difficult question for me.
I only asking one Sanjay, but looks like more than one Sanjay is talking now.
Okay, sorry. It's my... sorry.
No problem. You're quite loud and clear, but it's just that there's maybe... No, we again lost you.
Okay, is that better?
No, it was better before as well. See, you have not known me yet, you know. So when you know me well enough, then you know where I was coming from. Never mind. Yes, okay. Sanjay, please go ahead. Yes.
So the only way I can cognize the answer to that question without stretching too far is the uncaused cause must be the first pairing of the first cosmic male and female.
Where?
That's as far as I can take it in my mind.
Where was that cosmic father and mother come from?
Yeah, I have to say I don't know. I don't know in the sense that I cannot know, it feels like, rather than I don't know. I cannot know.
Sanjay, I would not ask a question without being reasonable or realistic. I can't ask you a question to which you have no answer. Then I am at fault, not you. So that's the reason the question and discussion has shifted not from the waking state, but to the dream state. The experiences of the dream has a certain validity, a certain clarity upon which Vedantic study is based on. And we derive a lot from our experiences of the dream state. If I ask you, can you give me who is your first father, Sanjay? You would say, sir, how am I to know? What sort of a question is that? How am I to know? I don't know. I'm not asking Sanjay. I'm asking the dreamer. I'm asking, you had a father in the dream and he had a father, and there's a lineage leading up to your forefathers to the first father. My simple question is, who is the first father in the dream? Now, through our conversation, I'm making everybody think along, sir. But I appreciate your thought process. Please think along with us. Let me engage others. You have anything more to add, Sanjay? Perfect. We will leave it at that. Please think along in the dream realm. Who is the first father? Vaidyanathanji.
It's the cosmic intelligence. That's the first seed that created life on this earth. Evolved over several thousand million years. The cosmic dreamer.
No, you are giving it a cosmic dreamer, but here he says, I am the seed of all beings. Everything has begun from me. No, there is no refute to that statement, isn't it? He says, I am the origin, I am the seed of all beings.
I would simply say Adam, but that won't answer the question.
No, I'm not asking in the waking state. I'm asking in the dream state. When you go to sleep tonight, in that 4 hours of your dream experiences, you have created a history, a lineage of forefathers. In 4 hours, yet you have lived 60 years in the dream. You have vivid memories of your grandfather as well. Therefore, there is a lineage. I'm asking, when did all that begin? Now I'm giving you a cue to you all to think. How old is your dream?
4 hours.
4 hours. And in that 4 hours, what have you done? You have created a lineage of forefathers. Now, my question to you is, who is the first father of the dreamer? Think along, sir. Think along. Think along. No problem. Who is it who raised the hand? Ramji, did you raise your hand? Now you have to speak, even if you have not raised your hand.
Namaste. Namaste, Guruji.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Well, I can only, it's only conjecture because I have not in actual dream right now. But I presume that there can't be, the first father can't be different for different people, in the sense that, because if the first father has created all the living beings, then he is the father of everything, of everybody, of all the living beings. So he he must be someone who is of having that ability to create life without a cause and effect. I mean, he's creating an effect, but he or she, whosoever it is, the first father, I presume, will be he. Is creating life without actually involving himself in the process.
So it looks like you have woken up, sir. I need to take you back to the sleep. I need to give you a couple of sleeping pills and put you to sleep, and then we'll have a discussion, sir. You're woken up.
Maybe, yes.
Very sorry, sir. I only am talking to dreamers, not to wakers.
Okay, yeah.
I am not talking to enlightened people. Sir, I'm sorry to be so stuck to the stance of analyzing the question from the dreamer. See, I think there were a few inputs people have given. In fact, I would certainly echo with Reddy Garu. He said, okay, let me hear from him. Your thought process is apt. That's what I'm looking at. Yes, sir.
Pranam Guruji.
Yes, sir. Namaskar.
The root cause and the source for the dream is the waker's mind. So
the source for the dream is the waker's mind. So who is the first father of the dream?
The person who has dreamt. It's nothing but waker. I mean,
the waker's mind is the cause of all the fathers, not just the first father. The waker's mind is responsible for all the fathers in the dream, including the first father. Because without the waker's mind, there is no dream. If there is no dream, there is no you. If there is no you, there is no chain of your father, forefather, leading to the forefathers. And the question is, who is the first father? The first father is the waker's mind.
Yes.
That's fabulous, Srinivas Reddy Garu. Wonderful. It is the waker's mind that has projected the world of fathers. So therefore, we say the waker's mind is the uncaused cause for the dream. It is the cause, but yet it is not the cause. Because when the chain of the dream ends, nothing happens to the waker, does it? The waker still remains intact. Nothing happens to the waker. So the waker's mind, which is the uncaused cause of the entire dream, is beyond the cause and effect of the dream. It is beyond the dream. It has got nothing to do with the dream. Exactly the same way. I am, he says, I know me as the eternal seed of all beings. Now you come to the waker. Now we all wake up, please. Now he says, the entire world of beings, which has a cause and effect, whether be it the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the human kingdom, everything you see has to have an origin. Without a cause, there's no effect. Now you go keep asking this question. If there was a cause and effect, who is the first cause for this entire creation? He says, I am the first cause. I am the seed where everything has sprung from me. Now, we've already said that eternal seed means it is the uncaused cause. Now, what is uncaused cause? The waker's mind with reference to the dream. Now I ask you all, what is the uncaused cause? Who is the first father of this entire world that you're experiencing? Badrinath ji. Who is the first father of the world that you are currently experiencing?
Pranam Guruji.
Namaskar.
Just as to answer the earlier question, we have to transcend the dream stage and seek the answer in the waker's mind. Similarly, here we have to transcend the plane in which we are to seek who is the first cause. So, and when we transcend the world of experience, the material world that we experience, then we get into only one answer, which is what Krishna is trying to say, which is we have to find a cause without a cause, something which causes everything, but which itself has no cause, and that can only be in a state which transcends our experiential world, the world that we experience, and therefore the Shastra says it is Brahman that has to be there, and which Krishna personifies in this verse.
So can I request you to repeat my question, sir?
Who is the uncaused cause of the waker?
Who is or what is the uncaused cause of the entire waking world? When I say the waker, when I say waker as Badrinathji, it's just not you, it's your entire world that you have created.
Yeah, the world that we experience is what I said.
Correct. The world which you experience.
Yeah.
Now, so you say Brahman is the uncaused cause?
Yeah, because to find the first in any plane, you have to transcend that plane, just as we had to transcend the dream state in order to find the first cause of the dreamer lineage. We couldn't stay in the dream state to find the first cause of the dreamer lineage. We had to go out of it. Similarly, in order to find the first cause of the world that we experience, we have to go out of it. The moment we stay in it, there will always be a cause of the cause. However far back we go and say that is the first cause, if you stay in the same world, then there will be a cause to that cause, and therefore it can't be the first cause. You have to get into a different plane, into a different, that's why I said that you have to transcend the world of experience in order to find the first cause, and that can only be Brahman, which Krishna personifies in the Bhagavad Gita.
So just to get you right, you say Brahman is the uncaused cause.
Right.
Which he puts it as the eternal seed. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I will. Therefore, can we say Brahman is the seed responsible for the entire creation of the world?
Yes.
But not in the same sense as a father and a son, as a chicken and an egg, and a seed and a tree. Subject, provided you qualify that.
Right.
We can say Brahman is the cause for the creation of the entire world, but not in the same sense as a chicken and an egg, a father, a son, a seed and a tree.
Right.
Because if you say Brahman is the cause for the entire creation, there is a fallacy in that argument. Because if the father wanted to create a child, there is a desire to create a procreation. Without the desire to create, there cannot be any creation. So there is the creator, the desire to create, and there has to be a union between the creator and the urge to create to bring about any creation. Just like if an artist, sorry sir, let me complete this. If an artist wants to create a painting, the artist, who is the creator, must identify with his urge to paint to bring about that painting, which is a creation. So there has to be the marriage between the creator and the urge to bring about a creation. So if you say God is the creator of the world, you're planting desire into God, which is bringing down God from an immortal state to a state of a mortal. Fundamental fallacy. Isn't it?
If you if you relate back to what we've learned in various other texts, that Brahman has no attributes, including the attribute of participation. So you can't create without participating. I think that's what you're trying to say. So there is a fallacy there. So therefore, the only way to resolve this contradiction is to my mind, is to say that the world of experience is an illusion. And otherwise, there is no other way of resolving this contradiction.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. In the next verse, he's going to say that, and we're going to touch on it. He doesn't put it in direct that sense, but there's a reference to that. But so the entire dream world is born because of the ignorance of the waker. Am I right?
Right.
The dreamer believes the dream world to be real. Let's say a dreamer experiences a dream of poverty, starvation, debt-ridden, loan sharks chasing him day in and day out. He's traumatized by the experience of the dream. Why is he a victim of that experience? Because he believes the dream world to be real, not realizing that he is an aristocrat. He is royalty in the waking state, which happened to the great King Janaka. A king dreamed to be a beggar. So it's possible to dream. The Shastras talk of a classic example. So the dream world exists as long as you're ignorant of the Veka. The waking world exists as long as you're ignorant of the fourth state, the Turiya. So the moment you wake up to that fourth state, the moment you realize yourself, the waking world, which is so real to you and haunting you, is realized as just another dream. Your waking world, which you are so terribly attached to, all the name and fame and money you have got attached to, is just a mithya, is illusion, caught up to something illusory. Wake up to the truth. So when you wake up, then you realize how illusory the world is. Until you wake up, you're caught up in the dream. So therefore, to conclude that thought, what is the first father of the dream, of the entire world? To be on the safe side, where we don't misunderstand, what is the cause is the ignorance of the self. The ignorance of the self has created the entire creation of the waking world. Just like the ignorance of the waker has created the dream and the bondage to the dream, the ignorance of the self has created the bondage to the waking world and objects and beings. Now, all of this is implied in that beautiful construction when he says eternal seed. Padminima, please don't hold your head like that. Is it because your head is heavy, or you feel?
It is very, very difficult to comprehend.
No, it's not easy.
I was trying to.
I am with you when you say that. I can understand. It's not easy to capture this idea. But is there anything in particular I can help you understand? Because you need to certainly revisit it a few times to even capture the idea before you consolidate your understanding. But I am happy to clarify if there's anything that you have lost in the thought process.
No.
Okay. Then I would request you to revisit it. Don't worry about it. It'll all of us have gone through the same experience, not similar, same experience, where when we heard it the first few times, it just completely went over, and just sheer persistence kept addressing these ideas. examining each concept and how it all beautifully fits in. And suddenly it starts revealing and appealing, you know. So just be a little patient in areas like as this, because it's little touchy, deeper aspects of philosophy. All right, Ma? Okay? Right, okay. Sitaramji, you are asking something. In which context was it? Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes.
Context in which I'd asked was, the answer to the question is to, in the dream stage, what is the lineage, who's the first in the chain of lineage? The right answer, what Reddy Arugu mentioned, was waker. I thought it was a dreamer. So I'm a little confused. Is there a difference between the waker and the dreamer? Of course, there could be a situation where in the dream itself you have a dream. So in that the dreamer becomes the dreamer, and that's possible. But otherwise, generally, one would not say that the waker is the same as the dreamer.
How can the waker be same as a dreamer? The waking experiences are different to the dreamer's experiences.
No, what I meant was the person who is awake, okay, like me, okay, I am dreaming. So I'm the dreamer. So the dreamer is the same as the waker. Or is it just a nuance of the thing?
I don't rather follow. When you say Sitaram is the waker, all right?
And
you
I
have
have
a
a
clear identity,
yeah.
Right? And just to understand your question, so when Sitaram goes to sleep tonight, he experiences a dream.
Yeah.
His experience of the dream is distinct and different from the experience of Mr. Sitaram. Sitaram dreams himself to be John, a young man with many aspirations and dreams, a distinct life as a dreamer. Now, how can you say Sitaram is John? Sitaram is not John. When John assumes that personality as a dreamer, he has no notion or know-how, or even if I were to enter into the John's world, knowing who Sitaram is as your guru, I will tell you, Mr. John, you're not who you think you are. You are actually Sitaram. I know you as a waker. You're not what you are. You would say, thank you for your advice, but I know who I am. MYOB. Because you are rejecting the existence of Sitaram. You don't even know. So these two worlds have an independent existence. The waker, the dreamer, and the deep sleeper. When you go through the deep sleep state, the sushupti, the state of deep sleep where there's nothingness, at that time you don't have any experience. You experience nothingness, that shunyam as they call it. You experience that nothingness. You don't know John nor Sitaram. So these three are independent worlds, independent existences. And more than 30 to 40% of your life, you're spending in a realm called the dream and deep sleep, which is what Vedanta is examining and drawing the philosophy out of it. However, it's very difficult to communicate something like this. Therefore, we say that the waking and dream are different states. No doubt, the source of it is the same vasana. The bundle of vasana is the same. In fact, since I've used the word vasana, how do these vasanas are responsible for the three states? Now, when your vasanas are not manifesting, you are the deep sleeper. Gayatri Ma, if you can just capture in the chat box for us. Huh? So when your vasanas are not manifesting, oh, Harishji is there. Yeah, Harishji, please, if you could. So when your vasanas are not manifesting, you are the deep sleeper. When your vasanas are partially manifesting, you are the dreamer. When your vasanas are fully manifesting, you are the waker. So no manifestation, a partial manifestation, and a full manifestation is deep sleeper, dreamer, waker, respectively. Siddharamji.
I understand. I'm sorry, I don't think I've understood, but maybe you can go ahead. My confusion lies in the fact that I understand the clear difference between the waking stage, the dreaming stage, and the deep sleep. That's very clear. The difficulty is in the word used, like the pronoun used, the waker or the dreamer, because the person who's dreaming is the dreamer. Now, isn't the dreamer the same as the person who is dreaming? That means I.
See, when
This
you, the I has got nothing to do with the waking,
No.
dream, and deep sleep.
No, the waker is the person who is the person who's dreaming. He may in the dream, he may become different persons. True. But the person who's dreaming is the guy who's waking, no? Or am I missing it completely?
So you have had a healthy meal as a waker. In fact, you have overeaten. And you are suffering because you have overeaten, you are not able to even toss on the bed. But the moment you slip into sleep, you are dying because of the hunger of starvation. So the food in the stomach of the waker doesn't satisfy the hunger of the dreamer. Please justify this logic. You are a multi-millionaire, you are dreaming as a pauper. How is it possible? There is no memory of all the knowledge of the waker to a dreamer. There is no knowledge. You're completely different. I will have to use this word, obviously not in the same context. Like the other day we said, a split personality, a totally different personality. You believe you're still to be something unique and different. It's not that there is any reminiscence of the knowledge or the experience of the waker in the dream. No, no reminiscence. So it's a world of your own that you project. Obviously, the platform is the same vasanas. Whose vasanas is? It is the vasanas. You can't say it's the waker's vasanas. It is the vasanas that has created this individuality, the individual you are. You get it?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand now.
All right. I am the eternal seed of all beings. Eternal because it remains to be the seed. It doesn't change. It is the changeless. It is Brahman. It is ignorance of Brahman. So you can't say God created the world. It is ignorance of God that has created the world. No, God can create the world, please. Don't be. I don't know what to say after that. Don't be dash. I don't know. You can say what you want. What do we say, Rajima? I know you wrote don't be. I know you wrote. After that, what?
If I may use the word stupid.
Yeah, you may, please, by all means, I give the liberty to you all. You may fill the gap. So it is very childish. It is very improper. Philosophically, it's not right to say God created the world. No, God, because as we said, the moment you say creation, there has to be a desire. God, there's no desire to create. And the moment you have transcended the desire which is born out of ignorance, you reach that same Godhood state. So even the otherwise also you are correct. See, what created the world is ignorance of God, and ignorance of God equals vasana. I hope you get the concept. Ignorance of God created the world, and ignorance of God, synonym to that is vasana. So it's your vasana that's created the world. Now, the opposite of that is when you reach the state of God consciousness, yes, they say you have reached the state of no vasana. So when you knock off that ignorance, how do you knock off that ignorance? By gaining Atma Vidya. Once you gain this knowledge, is an antidote for ignorance. Once you have that Vidya, that knowledge, which is an antidote for darkness, you reach that state of enlightenment. So all these are like jigsaw puzzles. Everything has a certain place, but once you understand it, it fits in perfectly. So perfect that as if it is so beautifully intended. It's intended. That's how perfect this knowledge is. Sanjay, is it all okay? Now, does it all make sense?
Yes, Guru, it's making sense, and it's something I can really meditate on, because it feels it's very deep. It's very deep. It just makes the mind travel deeper and deeper and deeper into this idea of, you know, what is causing, and where does that change happen? Where is that transformation? And yeah, it's actually quite a wonderful thing, because it's a thought that doesn't seem that it's a thought that can terminate. It's a thought that can continue and continue and continue. And just in continuing that thought, it opens more thoughts. It's a very powerful, and it's amazing that it's just come from that statement, that's been revealed from this idea of a eternal seed. It's quite a tremendous thing, actually.
Yes, it is. It's a fabulous that somebody had the vision to convey that. You know, so to be able to draw it out, it takes so much commitment and effort to get into this bowels of this literature to understand what is said. You know, it's not something superficial. So, you know, it's something very, very fascinating, different layers. You know, I'm glad. Tinkima. So Jiva created the world in the mind.
Hari Om Guruji, because you said creation implies desire, Jiva has desire and Vasana, and you said Vasana has created the world. So which means the world out there does not exist, it only exists in our minds. That's what I wanted to know.
You are too fast for me. Shanti, Shanti. Little slowly. You are like an F1 racer you're driving. I'm having a Maruti 800. I can't catch a pace with you. You know?
See, my thoughts come and go so fast, so I have to hold on to them and quickly share them. Okay, so what you said is it's the vasanas. So the jiva has vasanas, which leads to the desire.
Now, I have not used the word jiva in this entire class.
No, I'm using.
No, therefore, it is my clarification. What do you mean by jiva?
So what I was trying to think is the vasana comes as a thought and then a desire, and that is the desire. So it is in the mind that the world is created. That's what I was trying to ask. Because you know, like there is nothing out there, but we see the world and think it is real. So that means the world exists in our minds. Is that what I'm trying to figure out?
All right. Yes.
So mind belongs to jiva, unless you know the self idea doesn't.
No, it's a wrong statement. There's a little jerk I get when you use that phrase. Mind doesn't belong to jiva. Jiva is nothing but an individual. An individual is constituted of a body, a mind, and intellect. So this collective personality is the jiva. So it is not one aspect that belongs to the jiva or possesses the jiva or is defined, the jiva is defined by one aspect. It's the entire personality, isn't it? Huh? Now, it is right to say the world is a projection of your mind. Now, the different worlds, even though we all are living in, let's say, most of us are living in the same city, in the twin cities of Hyderabad and Secunderabad, we are living here. Some of us are not far away from each other. Yet the worlds we are living in is distinct and different from each other. The experiences you go through the course of your day in and day out, creates a world of continuity for you, isn't it? Now, how is it that the world you live in is so unique to you and mine is unique to myself? That is defined by the vasanas and desires that you have. If you have a desire for a particular experience, that environment is born for you. It's like me saying, Tinkima, I have never seen you in the badminton court every morning. Why is it that you're never there? You would philosophically say, Guruji, I have no interest in playing nor watching badminton. So why would I be there? Isn't that a simple logical argument? So it is your desires that draw you to the environment to create that world. If you have no desire, there's no world. Even though the world exists. Oh, you say, oh, I did not know that there's a facility like this there. Why? You had no desire to go and explore, isn't it? That's the reason they say that state of realization is also described as amani bhava. That state of realization is described as amana. Amana means mindlessness. When there is no mind, there is no world. Amana. So amani bhava, that state of mindlessness is attainment of Brahman. So mind gains solidarity because of just want to be clear you understood. Shashikanji, if I can ask you, the mind gains solidarity because of?
Mind get solidarity because of our yeah, namaste Guruji, sorry.
No, at all, please.
Because of our consciousness, may be wrong.
I know you were looking somewhere, therefore I thought let me catch you.
No, I'm just looking my notebook because I'm writing something from the chart.
No, I'm just kidding. No. Now the mind gains solidarity because of. So when does mind become amana?
This is a little beyond me.
Beyond me, okay. All right. All right. Let me ask Annapurnama. Annapurnama, are you able to follow?
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaskar.
Just then, when I think I've understood, again, I'm getting confused. But like you said, maybe we have to revisit to understand it better, Guruji.
All right, no problem. All what we are saying is the world that we live in, the parameters of your experiences is just defined by the desires and the vasanas you entertain. So the parameters means the world has a sort of a boundary, and the boundary of your world and experiences is defined by the thoughts and desires you entertain. So as your thoughts, so is the world. Therefore, we say, as your thoughts, so is the world. So the world is a projection of your mind, isn't it? Whatever your mind, so is the world.
Yes.
Right. Now, extending the same argument,
Yes,
the
yes.
Shastras, okay, yeah. So the Shastras are saying a mana, a state of mindlessness. The Shastras are talking of mindlessness. The world is talking of mindfulness. Completely ulta. So a lot of undoing you must do. Everybody is now marketing mindfulness. It is not mindfulness, it's mindlessness. You must have no, when you empty a mind of the thoughts and desires, the world disappears. Just like when you go to deep sleep, there is no thoughts, therefore there is no world. Just a proof of experience. Okay. Harishi, you had something to say, Harishi?
It's getting a little, the more I think it's clear, it's the more circular it gets. But when you said of the cause and the effect and the primary cause and therefore the uncaused cause, it brings us to what, at least in science, we call the concept of infinity. So you say that to any event, there is an infinite series of events that precede it, right? So if you look at me, I have an infinite set of precedences. I also have an infinite set of precedences. So too does my father. So therefore, how do you say that they are different? So you come to the concept that there is a concept of infinity, which is only determined by what we call the beginning of time or the origin of time. So if you were to understand this whole thing, you will have to move out of time and space and move into timelessness, right? And I suppose that is exactly what the Shastras are saying. I mean, Einstein said it in a much more scientific manner at a later stage, when he talked of time, the equivalence of time and matter and energy and all these equivalences. But that's where I think the origin of time is timelessness, right? Similarly, the origin of cause and effect is causelessness.
It just proves that how logical this school of thought is. It's very, very logical, but where science can't prove it, these men have experienced that state. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Thanks, Hariji, for those
Important thing is the
scientific. Yes.
The causelessness is like timelessness. That's I think, the essence of the whole thing. And just as you said, the dreamer, the origins of the dream cannot be in the dream state. I think Badri also said that, right? Similarly, the origins of the waker or the waking state cannot be in the waking. So again, it comes to the same thing, that there is a statelessness.
Right. Absolutely. Now, perhaps just to seal your understanding with another classic example we've often used, and I would use it in the context just to ensure and you are assured that you have got the concept in its entirety. The example, the classic example of the rope and the snake. So the question you got to ask is, what has created the snake? We say, we point to the rope. Rope here is the uncaused cause. Gayatri Ma, All clear? Huh? Rope is the uncaused cause of the
Snake.
snake. How do we say it is the uncaused cause of the snake?
It does not exist at all. Rope also does not exist, but a knowledge of the rope.
Rope is existing. Why you say rope also is not existing?
I mean, like the knowledge of the rope created a snake. So, or the ignorant.
You don't go about saying that. What existed, the reality is the rope, isn't it?
Yes.
A boy treads on the rope and mistakes it to be a snake. So the snake was born from where? From the mistaking, from not understanding
snake to be snake.
No. Shanti, slow down. The rope is the reality, Ilya. A boy treads on the rope and mistakes it to be a snake, right? The rope is the reality. The snake is an illusion.
Yes.
But not for the boy. For you and me, it's illusion. But when the boy sees a snake, where did that snake come from? The snake has come because of not understanding the rope as a rope. In short, it is the ignorance of the rope that has created the snake, isn't it? If the boy saw the rope as a rope, there is no question of seeing a snake. It is just the rope lying there. So it is the ignorance of the rope that has created a snake. Exactly that same way, the ignorance of Brahman has created the world of illusion. Same way, the ignorance of the rope has created the illusory experience of the snake. Therefore, the Shastras are saying, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Brahman is real, the world is illusion. Just like you would call the boy and say, the rope is a reality, the snake is illusion. There's no snake. I went and saw there. It is only a rope lying there. You say the boy that the rope is the reality, the snake is in your mind, is illusion. Exactly the same way the masters are telling us, Brahman is the reality. The world that is born out of your ignorance of the truth is an illusory experience which you have developed a desire and an attachment to. Therefore, the entire wisdom is to relieve you from your mental bondage and attachment to the world so that you rise beyond this cycle of cause and effect and get to the uncaused cause. Appa. So you go beyond this cycle of cause and effect and get to the uncaused cause. Therefore, he says, I am that eternal seed, which is the eternal seed is the uncaused cause. Don't get bound. Now, what is happening to us? We are bound in the cycle of cause and effect. For how long have we bound? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jathare shayanam, iha samsare, bahudustare, kripaya pare, pahi murare. No, in the Bhagavad Gita, we are bound to this vicious cycle of birth and death. It's a cycle, we are caught up. Birth, childhood, growth, disease, decay, death, child, birth, growth, decay, disease, death, birth, growth, disease, decay, death. This is the cycle we are caught up in, and it's a vicious, powerful cycle we are caught up in. To get out of this vicious cycle of cause and effect, you need this powerful knowledge. Otherwise, every act of ours is just binding ourselves. That's why they call it binding wire, they call, no? Even in the construction field, they say binding wire, it binds you. So we are binding ourselves to every object, every emotion, every thought. To feel an emotion and not be bound by emotion is an art. To enjoy a perception and not be bound by the perception is an art. To feel a thought and not be bound by the thought is an art. And it is that art is this Vedantic wisdom. But you sail through the variety of perceptions, emotions, and thoughts. You sail through them, you transact them, but yet you are Padmapatra, you're like a leaf, a lotus leaf in water, pure and immaculate. I only pray I don't get tired of this knowledge. So it catapults me to that state of Puriya. Amazing. Yes. I think, Sanjay, you have something to clarify, please.
Yes, Guru, something to clarify. So as you're sharing the example of the snake and the rope, and I was traveling through that thought process, and the first thing that came to my mind is also there's something, why did something more than ignorance that made the rope into a snake? Because it felt like there had to be another emotion, and for me that feels like it's fear. Because there's this thing of why even perceive the rope as a snake? Something has to create even that ignorance. And that seems to be a motivation for that ignorance. There seems to have to be a motivation for that ignorance, whether that's fear or greed, that drives us to even think that, I don't know if think is the right word, but to perceive that rope as a snake. Because if there was no fear of a snake, then there seems like there would be no idea of perceiving the rope as a snake.
So what you are saying is, it is just not the mere existence of the rope that has created the snake. There is an inbuilt fear in that child, a fear of darkness, fear of having heard that there have been snakes in the vicinity, and being alone. The child was alone in the backyard at that hour. All of that, and the moment he stamped on something which was soft and long, all of this contributed for him to misapprehend a rope to be a snake. So all these are contributory factors. So ignorance along with these factors. So you can say that, So in that sense, it is just not the ignorance of the self, which expresses as your strong desires, your fanatic attachments, and the various emotions that gurgle in your heart, clouding, creating a thick veil. You're not able to see, understand, perceive the reality, which in Sanskrit we call as avarana and vikshepa. So this avarana and vikshepa, which form a thick veil clouding the self, which makes it difficult for you to perceive the truth of the reality. You can say, man, the rope is lying there. Why can't you see as a rope? Just like this master saying that Atman, the truth, is the reality. It's right within you. Why can't you experience it? You don't have to go far to experience that truth. And yet you and I have been continuously failing to capture the truth. So it is the ignorance and those which are contributing factors. It is just not ignorance in the form of ignorance, but how it manifests, all that contributes to it. And it is the world that you have created out of ignorance. So there is it's like a catch-22 situation. Everything helps you, your downfall, everything collectively pulls you down, or if you use it wisely, everything helps you to lift you up. So the same world which blinds you, the same world can also elevate you. It's how you bring in a little light. Let's say the same environment in the backyard, you just put a little bulb there. There's enough light. instantly there is no possibility of misapprehending the rope. Similarly, leave everything as it is in your life and inject little knowledge and wisdom. Instantly, all this strong desires, attachments, and all the emotions that gurgle subside, and you start perceiving the truth, like the mist that clears and the sun's rays falls on you. So the sadhana is a collective effort. It's nothing exclusive. It's a collective. Everything goes into it to create that wholesome experience. Right? Perfect. All right. So I think we will dedicate this class to the eternal seed. Huh? So please give it a thought, and those of you who found it a little challenging at times, please revisit this, and if there's anything that needs to be clarified, please do come back. All right. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.